How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the second Dare TBM 930 video. Today we're going over the landing and shutdown checklist for the Dare TBM 930. Again, here's a disclaimer. Please get your aircraft training and pilot training from a reputable source. This does not count. These are for simulation use only. We're going to be landing here at Sedona. If you want, you can download the booklet as always. It is linked down in the description below on my Google site. It's a nice little thing to have to increase your immersion. All right, so we're going to start in the booklet on the final approach checklist. So we're going to want to come up here and check to make sure our landing lights are on, which they are. We want to go ahead and put our landing gear down, which we are going to do right now. And we're going to want to make sure that the gear unsafe is not on our cast, which it is not. And we're going to make sure that our gear winds up into the down position, which we are good there. The flaps need to be moved to the takeoff position, which is one too far. But we are now in the takeoff position, and we want the inertial separator switch to be in the on position, which we are good there. Now, on short final, we're going to check to make sure our landing gear is down. We can do that right now. We've got the 3 green. We're coming in a little high here, so I'm going to throttle back here a little bit, kind of give ourselves a little bit of a nose down attitude here so we can decrease our level. And we can now move our flaps into landing. It'll slow us down a little more. And we're going to get some more lift here, try to kind of balance out the aircraft, get them lined up a little better. We would also turn off our autopilot and yaw damper at this point. I didn't have them on before, so I don't need to do that now. For landing, we are going to move our throttle into the flight idle position and then use our reversers as we need, and of course brakes. Usually you use the reversers to slow you down to like 60 knots on the ground or so, and that's what we're going to be doing here. And then we can, after that, move on to using our brakes to bring us to a crawl. I'm still coming in a little bit high here. This isn't perfect. This isn't a perfect approach by any means, but once we get slowed down, then we can move on to the runway clear checklist. But here, still coming in a bit high. Beautiful, beautiful airport, Sedona. Landing with an amazing aircraft, the Dare TBM 930. So let's go ahead. We are slowing down the aircraft. We're trying to keep it leveled off here. Let's see how good of a landing I can get. Coming in just about right. Let's go ahead. We're over the runway threshold, so we can kick back the engine throttle. And let's just float on down here. Probably going to... We're a smaller aircraft, so I'm not too concerned here about the length of the runway. We should be just fine. There we go. There's the initial touchdown. We're going to use the reversers here. Just below 60. We can use our brakes here. I believe we got one more that we can turn off of down here, if I am correct. Yes, I am. Look at that, lucky me. We got 2 more. We got another one yet down there at the end, but let's go ahead and turn off right here. And then we can do the runway clear checklist. So we'll pass the that little line there. I'm blanking right now at the moment, but could bring the aircraft to a stop and do the runway clear checklist. So we're going to flip on our taxi lights because we're going to be taxiing. And we're going to use you can kind of use the taxi checklist before, really. We turn off our nav lights as well. De-ice system can all come off, I believe, unless we need something for like the windshield or whatnot. But we do want to keep the inertial separator switch on. So all of this stuff can come off, except for the inertial separator. Then we're going to go ahead and get rid of our caution flashes. The trims we would reset to takeoff, which they already are in this case. The flaps we are going to move into the up position. AC, again, as required. Transponder and radar. We're not... You would do those things at this point, but I'm not going to because I never set them in the first place. And now this is where we would kind of just go off of our... we don't really need to do anything for the taxi checklist, realistically, because we're already configured for it, and we don't need to necessarily test anything either as like brakes or flight controls or steering or anything like that. So I will catch back up with you once we get back to our parking location. Alright guys, so here we are just now getting back to our parking location. We are going to... Let's just head right over here. We're going to miss... Is this another dare? I think this is... No, it is not. It is close. Maybe I shouldn't be driving this close to the aircraft, but they're kind of in our way, so we're just going to move along over here. We're going to square it up here. Didn't have enough power to keep us rolling here. We're going to line it up the best I can without looking. A little bit too much on the power there. I'm going to bring the aircraft to a stop. Bring the power to idle. Flip on our parking brake. Get that to shut up. Our parking brake warning is on, so our parking brake is actually on. We can confirm that. Now this is part of the shutdown checklist. We're going to turn this puppy off. We are going to turn off all of our exterior lights. So we want to go ahead and make sure we turn all of those off. Interior lights, we would, as required, so we'd probably still need the panel lights if this were at night. The oxygen switch we can turn off. We turn off the oxygens. Fuel tank selection switch, or sorry, the second oxygen switch as well. The fuel tank selection switch can be switched back to manual, which there we go. That is now taken care of. We turn off the autopilot and trim. We hear the audible warning there. The AC switch we switch to off. That's the CB switch. This is the one we're looking for. The bleed switch we would switch to off as well. The cabin depressurization we would just check. We are good there, making sure as well that our cabin pressurization is depressurized or depressurizing. We're good there. The throttle we can then cut off, and that was going to shut down the engine. See it decreasing here. The inertial separator can then come off. Auxiliary boost pump warning will come on because the boost pump, if you've heard, has kicked on. We can turn off the auxiliary boost pump up here. We can then also stop this from beeping at us because we're good. We know we're shutting down the engine. The generator selector can be then turned off. And the crash lever can be pulled down, and that's going to move our source into the off position. This will come up. We can just hit continue, I believe, and it's going to let us continue. At that point, you could obviously go to the main menu or whatever, but we would want to close the fuel valve down here, and that actually completes the entire shutdown. So this has been the shutdown procedure from basically the landing or approach and landing to the shutdown of the Dare TBM 930. I'm going to thank you all for watching this video. Again, the booklet is down in the description for you to download over on the Google site. I love using it as an auxiliary tool to kind of increase the immersion. Instead of looking at another computer screen, you have it in front of you. That kind of improves the immersion, in my opinion. As well, I would like you to leave down in the comments which aircraft you'd like to see me do next. I want you guys to have a little bit of a say in which aircraft I do on this channel. I do want to do all of the aircraft over the next however long it takes me. Don't quite know. Some of the more complex aircraft like the A320 or the 747, 787, those usually take longer, so I'm definitely okay with cranking out a bunch of the propeller aircraft or like the general aviation aircraft first. But irregardless, I want you to leave down your comments for which one I should do next. And of course, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that next video as well. So that's all from me. This has been Rets, and I'll see you in the next Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 video.